Don't make another dumb joke. Or say nothing. That's fine too. Anyways, welcome back.
Oh, wait.
I counted down from 3.
Yeah, I was going to
Anyways.
say, I would think they made the toy animatronics on purpose. I mean, it's kind of unfair.
He did the same bit.
No.
Anyways, welcome back to take 2 of episode 2 of Scott Talkin'.
Speaking of 2, what do you think about FNAF 2?
I like it. I'm a fan of it. I think it expands upon the first game in a meaningful way.
Lore-wise? Good.
Lore-wise and gameplay-wise.
Gameplay-wise, it's fine. I think it's overrated as hell.
I think it's just... Like, I think FNAF 3 is underrated, personally.
I agree.
But, like, FNAF 2 is just, like... If you look at it from a gameplay perspective, it's just the most sound. Except for 1. I think 1 is, like, the most infinite replayable, and the closest thing that you get is 2. And 3 can get stale.
That's fair. My problem with 2 is, it has a very tight gameplay loop, and that is very satisfying to get good at. It does not reach the highs of 1 in terms of the loop at any point. It just is a poor man's 1 in most ways, and in every other way it is RNG, which is lame.
That's fair. Anyway, on to what tonight's subject is actually about, and it's not our thoughts on FNAF 2.
Just trying to derail it.
You're trying to derail episode 2 and you're already sabotaging.
It makes more sense than FNAF 3.
Fuck. Anyway.
It's our second episode, man.
It's our second episode, and I'm trying to take it seriously. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's okay.
Anyway, tonight's subject, and I'm saying tonight. I don't know when the fuck you all are listening to this.
Happy Thanksgiving, by the way.
Happy Thanksgiving. Yeah, we're recording this on Thanksgiving.
Just to date this even more. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Absolutely.
Happy Thanksgiving. What are you thankful for, Ben?
I'm thankful for you and this podcast, and you know, it might not be numbers akin to insert
the Joe Rogan
podcast
experience.
Here. Yeah, Joe Rogan. But you know what?
Papa Joe.
It's getting good feedback. I've gotten some people that I wouldn't think would even listen to it saying that they enjoyed listening to what they listened to, and you know what? That's fair. I like that.
You know, that means a lot to me because I was going to say the exact same thing. You and this podcast has been a treat so far. It's been a treat. A treat so far.
Hopefully it continues to be a treat, even though it's episode 2.
Yes, I can see things going wrong, but I can also see them never happening.
I mean, yeah, I could make a very loud fart and it derails the podcast. We're pretty stupid.
Yeah, we could get invaded by aliens.
We can get invaded by fucking West
you ever
Germany.
Seen Mars Attacks?
I love Mars Attacks.
I'm trying to derail it again.
No,
anyway,
you're not going to derail me.
Let's talk about our topic.
Our topic. Yeah, today we actually have an outline, not a script, because we're not cowards.
Scripts are for pussies. Outlines are for chads.
Outlines.
I said Chad in 2024.
Wonderful.
So fucking cancel me, I dare you.
Today's subject is about the difference in the gameplay loops of FNAF, or the first few FNAF games. I mostly want to talk about the AI, but I realize that I cannot hold a conversation about AI for a particularly long amount of time, because I don't know a whole lot.
Well, yeah, exactly. And inevitably, that's just gonna be derailed into talking about how dumb of an AI Gemini is. Fuck Gemini.
That's true.
Where are all my Gemini haters at? Google has bad AI, and that's funny.
That's true. It does have very bad AI. Anyway, so the reason I came up with this subject in particular, I just kind of put it in. I deadass sent episode title outline in chat, unannounced, one day.
Are we gonna explain the title, by the way?
Fireside Chats with Freddy's.
I mean, it seems pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah. Well, because we are talking about AI, so there's this really fun Discord game called Death to AI, and I highly recommend that you get a group of friends.
AI, but yeah.
Whatever. You get a group of friends and you play it because it's very fun. But we ended up getting
You're trapped in a burning building with Freddy Fazbear.
Yeah, and as the building is burning down, they start a podcast, and it was known as that.
Yeah, they came up with the title, so thanks to AI for this.
Thanks to AI for coming up with our titles for us. We do
Yeah,
not condone AI stealing
we
jobs
do
from
not
people, but
condone,
like
but
it's pretty.
if it's our job, then who cares?
Yeah, whatever. We sit and
We
talk
have
about
real
things.
jobs.
Well, I do. You
I'm
hopefully
going
will
to.
soon.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Got anyway.
the topic originated. That was the same day we played this. Actually, we watched the Tech Rules video where he's breaking down the AI and how it works in FNAF 1. And I went, well, that's pretty interesting, and I wonder if it's very similar for the other games. Because I can't imagine it's much different.
I'm gonna find the actual name of the creator because I do want to credit it because it's a very good video.
It's Tech Rules, and I will put the video in the description.
Okay, cool.
Because
Tech Rules.
it's an absolutely great video. I find it very intriguing. And he mentions in the video how it would take away from the horror aspect, and it doesn't because the animatronics are still predictable. But it does make it a little easier to strategize in a game that is press button to keep them out or press button to make them go away.
What game are we talking about?
FNAF 1.
FNAF 1. Yes.
But anyway.
It is, yeah.
So I think it's interesting because I don't know how much. I don't even know if you watched the video with us or if you were playing like Finding.
I didn't watch it with you, and I wasn't playing Binding of Isaac. But I've seen the video a couple months ago, probably, maybe a year ago.
The point stands. It's a great
Yes.
video, and it's interesting because like I didn't know how the animatronics worked. I didn't think about it. I don't care. Like I don't really think about. Like I'm a big cinephile, like I really like movies, and I'm always thinking about how they do this, like how they do certain scenes in movies. My brain does not think like that for games. And so like when I do see it, I find it ridiculously interesting, but then I wipe it out of my memory because I don't care.
That's
but like
fair.
for FNAF, it's interesting because like I've dissected I wouldn't say dissected, but I've heard every piece of information about behind the scenes of the games.
Been around the block a couple
I've been
times.
around the FNAF block a few times, despite what people may think about me.
I've been around the Five Nights at Freddy's a couple times.
After me talking about how the FNAF 3 location is the FNAF 1 location.
It's okay.
Yeah.
We all make mistakes. I'm sure I will slip up too.
It's okay.
I might already have.
Yeah, we probably did.
That's okay.
But with the AI, it's interesting because the whole thing is that they have like these movement chances, and they have a certain. It basically generates a number depending on their AI level, which is basically their hostility. And if they pass a movement chance, which is essentially gambling, they move. Which is, I think, how Foxy is able, because his AI is never set to 0. I think
It's 0 plus. It's always whatever the AI is plus 1 is their opportunity to move.
Yeah, but like
at least in FNAF 2, I think FNAF 1 as well though.
FNAF 1. Ah, delicious. I'm drinking Baja Blast because I love it.
Oh hell yeah! Oh hell yeah!
But I think the AI, I'd have to pull up the video again, and I'm not going to do that because I don't want to. But it was
That's
something like the AI level. It's not divided by itself because it doesn't make any sense. It's like plus, or it's like when it falls into a certain number. It's like I think 1 to 20. They subtract that from a random number, or they add it to a random number, and then if it's equal to or above it, they pass a movement check.
And then they get to move, yeah.
And then they move, and all of them have a predetermined route.
Yep.
Kind of. They can move back. Like I know, every time I play, Chica manages to go, like make a beeline from west or East Hall. I think it's East Hall. Yeah, East Hall. So they come in from East Hall and they just beeline back to the fucking dining room. I don't know why Chica does that. Maybe it's just because I only remember FNAF or Nights 3 and I think it's 5 are her most hostile nights.
So after night 3, I've pulled up the actual like chart for what their levels are in each night. And after night 3, Chica is always has a higher AI aggression than Bonnie. And Bonnie's interesting though. So here's the order from nights 1 to 6. From night 1 he's 0. Everyone's at 0 at night 1. Night 2 he goes to 3.
But they increase incrementally. I found this out.
Yeah.
For
After
every
a certain
hour,
amount of time, they
hour,
go up.
they go up 1.
Exactly. That's
the only reason
also
Foxy
cool.
can technically show up. I don't think Foxy can ever attack you because of the amount of time that it would take for his AI to build up.
Mhm.
It's impossible for him to attack you, but he can
It's
show
never
himself.
It's never something worth caring about in night 1.
I mean, they can get close. I don't know if they can like fully attack you unless they get very, very lucky. It is possible for Bonnie or Chica to get very, very lucky on their their movement attempts, but I've never seen that to the extent where they're within hours. I've seen it where they get close and then 6 a.m. happens.
Yeah, and being on the camera also prevents them from. I don't remember if it's
Prevents
just Freddy
and Foxy.
It's Freddy and Foxy. Yes, I don't
Freddy,
remember
you
if
have
it
to.
works for Bonnie and Chica.
I think it's Freddy. You have to be looking at him, and Foxy as long as the camera is open.
I don't. I think it's it might be the other way around.
No, because Foxy, I know this for a fact. Foxy cannot move when the camera's open, and you don't have to be looking at him. You can be looking at any camera, and he can't move. And if he passes a movement check while the camera's up, that he will just wait till you put the camera down and move.
Okay, I'll take your word for that because it's been a while since I've seen this. But
yeah.
So we're gonna go forward knowing these are what they start at each night. So at night 2, Bonnie goes to 3, and then at night 3 he goes to 0, and then 4 he goes to 2, and then he goes to 5, and then 10.
I didn't
realize
that he starts at 0 on night 3. That makes a lot of sense. Chica's supposed to be the most aggressive.
Chica is 5 at night 3, and she's 7 at night 5, and she is the highest on both of those for those.
Chica's the most aggressive. I think that's why Chica's the most favorited in the fandom, because it's the one that you have to manage the most.
Chica's the favorite? I have never heard that.
Really?
No,
you've never heard Chica's a favorite? Chica's been
It's always been Foxy. It's always been Foxy.
Yeah, but like I feel like Chica has more lasting power.
I feel like Freddy Fazbear has.
Well, yeah, but like I feel like Freddy wasn't really truly respected until Glamrock. He didn't get the appreciation he deserved.
Sure, yeah, it's true. Glamrock Freddy is like, honestly, all the Glamrocks got like a lot more popularity, but that's just because they had some kind of personality for people to latch onto.
Yeah, I don't.
Which they've never really focused on in the games before.
I think it's interesting, but I also think that it raises the question of: is this sentient AI or is this dead kids?
I think the assumption is that this is a more futuristic location. The robots themselves are more sophisticated, and they were given personalities to match that sophistication. No, it's weird. We can agree on that. But at least they had memorable characters, which
they did have.
You can't really say that about honestly, Sister Location. Sister Location
tried that, and the only one who kind of had a personality was Ennard, and that not even Baby.
Well, Baby
technically is Ennard.
All the character of Ennard is taken from Baby.
To an extent.
Ennard isn't just talking with Baby's voice. That is Baby, like, because Baby was the ringmaster of the like whole operation. She was like in control of the body pretty much.
I thought Ennard was all the animatronics except for Baby. But there were certain parts of Baby inside of Ennard that allowed Ennard to replicate Baby's voice.
It included Baby, and then after Sister Location, they kicked Baby out, and that's why we have Molten Freddy and Scrap Baby. Which I don't understand. I don't understand where Baby found roller skates and a giant fucking claw, but whatever.
I think it was because it's a cool design, and then
it is a cool design.
I don't know. It kind of feels like Scott just kind of redesigns characters sometimes because he doesn't want to
no reason sometimes, because like why the hell does Springtrap look like that in Pizzeria
Oh my
Simulator?
god, and the fact that he's a seprate character in Ultimate Custom Night.
He's all forehead.
Is that Scott taking the piss? It has to be.
He probably just wanted more
slots.
He didn't want to include JJ.
That's fair. JJ didn't wasn't
either.
JJ just like Because I don't know if did BB under the desk even mean anything, or was that just like a
No,
cool little
that-
visual?
Well, technically, it's meant to be a different character. It's just meant to spook you because you're looking down there anyway to open the cams and close the mask and stuff.
You see it. I swear to God,
Yeah.
I haven't I noticed it once.
I
Ever.
never noticed it ever.
Like until people started telling me that, oh, it's BB or JJ under there, I didn't even notice that was a thing.
It's technically, I don't even know where JJ came from.
Probably just. Well, I mean, I don't know.
It's Balloon Girl. I would love to know the lore behind that one.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. Maybe someone called it that and they go, oh, that's catchy.
Maybe.
I like BB and JJ.
Like BJ? Probably
Yeah.
shouldn't say that.
I hope that's not why. But, whatever.
No. That would be weird.
But the AI.
The AI, yes.
Yes.
Yes, of course. As far as I know, that is how it works in 2 and 3 as well, with the movement opportunities.
I don't know how the
you have
phantom animatronics work. Do they have like a certain percentage and when they can show up on like wherever they show up, like Mangle's?
I think they
event
become
cam?
more. Not all of them are like I think it's just like Phantom Bloom Boy on Night 2 and stuff, and then like more and more become active later on, and they're just like chances every time you open the respective cameras.
I was
Pretty
showing.
much like Chica is like that.
I was streaming
think
FNAF
about it.
3 in call, and that was one of my first encounters with fucking Phantom Puppet. God, that's a fucking annoying one.
That is very annoying. It's not even that scary.
It's not. Because I find the puppet up until recently, and by recently I mean like probably 17. I thought the puppet was the scariest animatronic.
That's fair.
In design-wise, yes, that is the creepiest design. Like the soulless eyes and the mouth and shit gives me
Just
the
a clown
heebie-jeebies.
get up, makeup.
Yeah, because like they did clowns later and they weren't as creepy. Except
Correct.
for, I mean, Balor is pretty creepy, but that's because it's humanoid. It's Scott
And
capitalizing on what
scary.
people called creepy in other games, and then he made it human, and that's the most uncanny thing.
See, FNAF 1 captured the uncanny valley so well, and
Oh yeah,
every other game was chasing that success. There were times where I think they succeeded. I think FNAF 2 succeeded in a different way. Not necessarily in uncanny valley. What was that?
sense of hopelessness for FNAF 2.
Hopelessness. Oh, for sure. And are we just gonna go through like the type of fear for each game, because that is an interesting idea actually.
Well, I mean, that's kind of that's kind of under gameplay differences, which is in
For
our
sure.
outline.
You're the most hopeless for sure in FNAF 2. I would say FNAF 3 is a very like personal fear of knowing someone you know or knew. It's like you've seen a ghost.
FNAF 3, if you look at it from a lore standpoint, is the most unsettling, but
Absolutely.
when you're playing it, Springtrap is very easy to maneuver. It is literally the phantom animatronics that keep that from being easy.
Exactly.
If there was like, I'm sure there's like some Wii mod shit that will get rid of the phantom animatronics. If that can even happen. I'm pretty. Those games are so simply programmed. I feel like if you take one thing out.
I think there's a cheat after you beat all the knights actually that take out the phantoms.
Taking out the phantoms, even Springtrap at max aggression, you literally you keep him in Cam 9, you block the vent entrance in Cam 9, and you keep him there. The phantom animatronics are what make him hard.
The byproduct of
sorry, not what make him hard. Holy shit! What makes keeping him there hard, difficult.
Yeah. I was thinking about something. Sorry.
No, you
I don't want to talk about it.
you don't have
to. I think a byproduct of making Springtrap consolidating every lethal warning into one animatronic and like kind of souping him up to be kind of harder to see on cams and stuff is just that it's just easier to like focus on because there's only one thing to look at.
It's kind of what makes and I love Help Wanted 1. If I look at it through the eyes of not the lore, because I do not like the lore of Help Wanted 1, but if I look at it as a collection of remastering the original 4 to an extent, it's mostly just the first 3, and they have 4-esque gameplay.
Yeah, they just have the bedroom a little bit.
kind of, and then the hallway with plush trap.
Yeah.
But if I look at it as really good remasters of those games, I still think 3. I like playing 3 in Help Wanted because it's easier to see Springtrap, but that gets rid of the challenge of keeping Springtrap in the same place because it is so hard to see in those cameras, and the only thing that's easy to see is the Phantom animatronics, and then once you see them, you're fucked. I don't even know if Phantom Puppet is in Help Wanted.
I don't know either. I
If
haven't
it
seen
is, it's
anything on that.
very hard to get. I'll have to look that up later.
I'm sure. Yeah.
I can't imagine why they'd get rid of it.
I do want to talk about FNAF 4 a little bit, and not too long because I don't like that game that much, but I do want to talk about it a little bit. I want to say the fear from that game comes from like if you were in that scenario, it feels very the setting and the atmosphere is very like dreamlike. And I do think that it does that very well, of like not being able to tell if this is reality or not. Because like the layout of the place is so weird. It's like a kid's bed with a huge like play area, a closet directly in the middle, and 2 hallways that exit out into like a very small like
There's no
rest of the house.
There's
Most
no
of the
way
house
a house
is
would
that
be
bedroom.
laid out where the bedroom is a bridge. The only way that's ever kind of done is a bathroom, and even then I've never really seen a house that has a bathroom that's a bridge between 2 rooms. Like the way that house is laid out, if that was a master bedroom, I'd excuse it, but that's a child's bedroom.
Yeah.
On what I think is a 2nd floor.
I don't think it's even a 2nd floor building. I think it's only 1 floor.
If it's one, that makes Pizzeria Sim's layout of the house make 0 sense.
You mean sister location?
Pizzeria Sim, when you do the mini game, because Sister Location does the.
Are you talking about with the Midnight Motorist one?
Yeah, that.
I have some things I want to talk about with that because
lore, but like.
Yeah.
No, because Sister Location just straight up takes the FNAF 4 layout. There's cameras to FNAF 4. FNAF, as far as I'm concerned, even though that's in the non-canon ending, FNAF 4 and that layout of the house is canonical.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Unless
the ending,
but like
the ending
Pizzeria
itself
Sim,
is not canon. What conspired in the non-canon ending did not happen, but like that office and like that like observation room basically that was real. That did like exist.
I think it's a
That was an
non-canon way
underground
of showing
bunker
canon, and I think it's really
Yeah.
cool. It's also
Yeah,
just
I
a
know.
fun gameplay mode to bring things back to basics.
100%. That is the best part of Sister Location, and that is why the fact that he added a custom night later on was the best thing that happened to that game. Because that's probably 2 gives it a run for its money, but that is probably the best custom night. And Ultimate Custom Night obviously is just like super
That'd be the one
meth.
thing that would make like Ultimate or like Help Wanted kind of cool, and Help Wanted 2 could do that too. Is you have custom nights, and you could pick what location.
Oh yes.
And the AI levels to certain animatronics. And I think that'd
Help
be cool.
Wanted Custom Night would be very cool. I agree.
I genuinely cannot play FNAF 1 anymore with knowing how you can play FNAF 1 in Help Wanted. It feels so good. If Steel Wool, because Steel Wool did that, I give Steel Wool a lot of shit for security breach, and I will continue to do so. And I just recently discovered how amazing and how so fun that doesn't make sense, how fun Help Wanted 2 is. Help Wanted 1 and 2 are where Steel Wool should stick because those games are so good, and Help Wanted 1 specifically being very good recreations. They take away some things, like I think the fear factor is just not as good, and they honestly make the audio engineering, they boost certain things in Help Wanted. I don't know if you ever noticed this. Like in Help Wanted, everything goes by quicker, everything is louder, and everything is honestly like, because of you're taking 2D sprites that replicate 3D and making them 3D, it kind of get like Freddy and Foxy do not look as scary.
I think there's something to be said about you are playing it on a screen and not in VR.
That's true. Even in VR though, Even in
I think
VR, it's just like now it's in front of you. I still go, that still looks funny.
I think the trade-off there is the fact that it is very much like um it's a lot more immersive.
It
And I
is.
think it creates it's almost equal in that sense, I would say,
I like the
in terms of the
cameras.
fear at that point.
I like the cameras being like always open. I like that you can. Oh, I love that you can control
Puppet?
the cameras with WASD.
Yeah, that's
That
pretty cool.
feels amazing. The doors feel very responsive. The lights, the dynamic animations. Like if FNAF in real time ever comes out, and I don't think it will, but if it does, I don't know if I'll like it. I think it'll just give Help Wanted a run for its money in other ways. I know it's trying to do its own thing lore-wise, and I don't care for that. I wish there was like a mode for that, and then just true FNAF 1 real-time mode. But I love how the real-time aspect applies in Help Wanted.
Yeah.
Because the way they move,
Seeing them walk down the hallway like that
is arguably scarier than just they're there now.
It is like this crazy like it's like your it's like those like weird like stories you make up with like your toys just like come to life. It's just it was incredible seeing that for the first time. I agree.
And because they're so big in the game, like honestly,
yeah, the scale.
The one thing I will give them is that the scale of FNAF 1, it's so much more claustrophobic. It is you feel like a small person in a big facility surrounded by big animatronics, which is what like FNAF 3 doesn't have that. When you play FNAF 3, like FNAF 1 and 2, you feel small and everything feels tight and these animatronics are big. In FNAF 3, I swear to God you're the same height as Afton and that doesn't make any sense.
I mean, it kind of does. You're meant to be an adult at that point.
You'd still be an adult in the other two.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's true.
I
but
think it's going for a different vibe. I still
think
I still play FNAF 3 as FNAF 3. I don't play it in Help Wanted.
Yeah, I think that the difference being is so Afton is in a springlock suit, and those are meant to fit over human people, and so they have to be that size.
Right,
It's
but they also have to have the endoskeletons in there, which means that there would have to be a boost in height because there's no way you put an endoskeleton in it and they suddenly get taller.
No, I'm saying they didn't have to account for being able to fit around a person. They could make a different endoskeleton that didn't require to be like it didn't have to be like able to fit in with the springlock system.
I can't wait for people in the comments on YouTube or even in Spotify to tell us, you're wrong, this is how the suits actually work.
In the books, in Shitfuck's Delight, they said that the endoskeletons are shaped like a dildo, therefore you're wrong.
They're shaped like people, and so the animatronics should be people-sized, even though I'm pretty sure it's canon that Freddy's like 7 feet tall.
Something like that.
Which makes him shorter than Shaq by an inch, but with the hat, I think that gives him inchage.
The hat advantage.
Yeah. The hat's a part of him, man. The hat is a part of the animatronic, just like Chica's cupcake.
Well,
I think is a byproduct to Chica. Attachment to Chica, so is the hat.
I think the cupcake is an extension of Chica for sure. He does Mr. Cupcake, as we've found his name to be.
He's massive in the movie. He's not that big in any other thing.
He is one of the highlights for me in that movie.
He's the only one that has anything remotely close to like a horrific kill in that movie. Because like,
what about Freddy chomping someone in half?
Yeah, but like I've seen that. Maybe I'm just a jaded horror fan that likes like gruesome. Like I like Terrifier and Smile for doing shit that's like kind of fucked up.
Yeah. The biggest horror in that movie still comes from the fact that there's children in those suits.
Yeah, but even then they fucking play it like a sitcom in the middle. It's really funny.
No, it's amazing. That's the best part of the movie, the slice of life.
Yeah, but anyway,
they build a blanket for it.
I understand why the cupcake's that big. There's no way they could, because they did it all practically, which I love about that movie. Thank you, Blumhouse.
Incredible.
Thank you, Blumhouse.
Thank you, Jim Henson's Creature Factory.
Oh yeah,
for doing that. I love you. Mwah.
They did a phenomenal job. But
I
like,
loved you in Sesame Street. Dude, could you imagine if they
I was
showed up
about to
on
say the
Sesame
same
Street?
fucking thing. I was about to say the
Dude,
same thing. Get ready for the next.
Elmo's birthday party at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza.
He'd be the fight victim.
I'm going to write a fan fiction.
Oh, wonderful! Don't send it to me.
No,
I don't want to read.
I think you want to read this one.
Maybe, but nah.
It's no
I'm
smart,
about to
don't
get into cupcake dimensions, and that is not what the direction I want to go in.
Cupcake dimensions. Yeah. Anyway,
Because
I do
he's
have a
huge in the movie, and even in Help Wanted, where you can like be face to face with him in VR, he's not that big. But they had to make him that big.
Yeah, I do have a palate cleanser if we want to change subjects here. I actually have two things.
Okay.
One is a quick mention, and one is like something I want to get your opinion on.
Okay.
So the first thing I just want to credit, Steel Wool for their the best thing to come out of Steel Wool's from a storytelling aspect is their take on VR. It was kind of touched on a little bit in Ruin with the mask or whatever. I think it's very interesting what they're doing with that, and they expand on that in their 2 VR games. With
In
like
Help Wanted 2,
the way they
though,
act on it.
instead of having like
Yeah.
the neon flip or the neon switch flip, which I do not like, it makes the game an eyesore. Instead, it's the AR mask. It's Vandy's mask, and that's the hard mode stuff. And I like that 1,000 times more because A, you get to see the ruined hub area, which you can fully walk around, which is great. But seeing it ruined is really, really cool.
There is a cutscene, like 100% cutscene, I think, which does have implications, but I won't talk about it if you haven't gotten there yet.
I haven't gone to
You're
it.
in like
I'm not
you're in like a
100%.
claw machine.
I'm not
No,
going to
no,
100% that game simply because, okay, I'm going to try my damnedest to beat that Chica pizza mission. I don't know if I'm just really stupid or if Chica just sometimes lies to you.
Everyone struggles with that one. We should stream that one. I think that'd be a good live stream.
There is footage of it in this video, I'm sure.
Of you beating it, I mean.
Oh, of me beating it, dude, you would see the most joyous reaction because I got close.
Yeah, that's why we should stream it.
And then I accidentally picked up the pizzerito that he was about to eat, like right as I was about to win, and I actually like, I fully got up, left my room because I'd been playing it today. Like I bought it today. I've been playing it today. I went up. I just went talked to my nana for like an hour and then sat down on the couch. Like I was like, right. I got so upset that my brain hard reset and I couldn't even sit at my computer. I had to walk. I had to walk to the living room and like think about other things. I had to
go count my blessings. I was so mad.
I mean, shit. That's why this is gonna be a funny fucking character switch because I thought Helpy was so fun. Like, if you ask me when I recorded episode 1, like, what are your thoughts on Lefty? I go, oh, he's fun. He's kind of cute, you know, Helpy. Whatever. Episode 2, me, after playing Help Wanted 2.
Yeah, he's a shit stain.
Fuck Lefty. Genuinely. Or Helpy. I'm saying Lefty, but Lefty's...
Yeah. Lefty is awesome.
Lefty is in that game, and he's pretty cool.
Yeah, but shout out to Lefty, man.
They recreate him very well in VR.
Yeah.
But Helpy? Fuck Helpy.
Okay, you've unlocked another thing I want to say before I get to my big piece. A big piece. There's 2 Helpies technically.
Oh, wonderful.
There's Helpy with a Y and Helpy with an I.
That is Terry with a Y and Terry with an I from Monsters University. That's the same thing.
Yeah, so Helpy with an I is just like a program that is in Ruin. And he's kind of an asshole, and he's probably evil.
Really?
Everywhere else is Helpy with a Y.
That's hilarious. That actually makes me a little bit happier because I mean, I love that you can accidentally lobotomize him. Like that's what happens in the game.
The silver lining to Helpy being a jackass fuckstick is that he just like you can just do the awesomest shit to him. Like you can
apply saw to cranium.
You can absolutely annihilate him and whack a rabbit.
It's
Whack-a-bon?
It's Bashabon.
Bashabon. And it's really funny if you just ignore the like, don't hurt Helpy, he'll get sad. And you just hit everything in sight.
You lose if that happens.
I know, but it's really funny.
Also,
You can do it.
there's zero downside to not hitting Helpy. If you don't hit Helpy, you get over the score minimum by a lot. There are set score minimums, and you keep your points as the stages go on. So if you just keep bum rushing all the bonds and the babs, and you only hit those and you never get points deducted, you can get a max score that's like ridiculous. Like I think I got like some like 167 and the minimum was like 120.
Sounds about right.
So I was just
All
like
right.
focusing my energy. Anyway,
Here
one
is
and two
my
is fun.
Exactly, definitely. Here is my hot take for the episode. FNAF 2 and FNAF 3 are the two separate pieces that made FNAF 1 incredible, taken apart and made masterpieces in their own right.
Are you saying that if you look at the first three games as a trilogy, they all make themselves better? Or are you saying that gameplay-wise, story-wise, they make FNAF 1 better?
Well, they obviously retroactively make FNAF 1 more fun to go back to, but I'm saying FNAF
From
2
a lore are you saying from a lore standpoint or as an entire package? Because I would strongly disagree if you're saying entire package.
What are we talking? What? I'm sorry.
Are you saying to revisit the lore of FNAF 1, or are you saying like in FNAF 1 it's in okay. Then I would be inclined to agree.
But like I'm in terms of like gameplay, as much as I do give FNAF 2 shit, it is like widely regarded as the apex in a lot of ways for a reason. And but like lore wise, it definitely peaked with FNAF 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you took and those two things were set up by FNAF 1 in a certain way.
I don't think they were intended to. I think Scott
at
that point had an idea.
By the seat of his pants.
I think at that point Scott had an idea for the way he wanted it to go. He intended FNAF 3 to be the end, and you can look at each. I think you can look incrementally after 3 as they're different. Like you can look at FNAF 1 as its own thing, FNAF 1, 2, and 3, FNAF 1, 2, 3, and 4, FNAF 2, 3, 4, Sister Location. And then once you get to Sister Location has to be bundled in with Pizzeria Sim, which has to be bundled in with Ultimate Custom Night. And then you have that, which is, I think that's the 7 games. I call it the original, but technically it's the original 3.
The original 3 are definitely a trilogy. I would say there's stuff to be said about there being a kind of all over the place trilogy, being FNAF 4, World, and Sister Location, where he was trying to kind of find his rhythm and like figure out how the hell to continue the story. And then I want to say, or maybe it's FNAF for the books and World.
I would say that because that was definitely where everything felt so disconnected from, like FNAF 4 does not feel like a part of the same franchise outside of gameplay. The books, batshit insane, and then World is straight up not in the same like
far left
wavelength.
field. Chica's Magic Rainbow, fuck you. and then he kind of like he had the start of an idea with Sister Location. And then he continued that
landing with 6.
Exactly.
Good God, that game
exactly,
is good.
Yeah.
God damn, that game is good. It's just so good.
And that perfectly segues into what I want to talk about with Midnight Motorist. The person that runs away from the house in that game is William Afton. Think about this. They drive on the left side of the road. They're in Europe. What do we know about Afton?
He's British.
And why would he be a different color?
That also, Michael is also British.
Person.
And Elizabeth is British.
But there's an implication that he went to Utah at some point. God damn it,
Scott! Don't put Of course he put it there. Of course they're in Utah.
we're seeing the moment where William Afton ran away from a broken home to pursue his furry dreams, apparently.
I would
And
say
he somehow makes his way to America, I think.
you almost have a point, except for that doesn't make sense because Michael would not be that abusive. I don't know why the mom would be saying
What?
that.
Mike?
Well, then who was Orange Man?
William's dad. This is him as a kid,
Oh.
right?
Okay. I could
That makes
see that.
narratively, that makes a lot more sense to me. I should clarify, I didn't come up with this on my own. I was watching a video by a wonderful gentleman named Gibby's Horror Homestead, who had
If you could send that one in the Scott Talkin chat, and I'll put that one
I
in
will
the description too.
I will do that. He was just talking about I think this was focused on Midnight Motorist, and he threw that out at the end, and it feels like that makes a lot more sense than any other like justification, because what we know about Pizzeria Simulator was it was trying to tie up loose ends and create closure for the series. In every single one, we get another take on Charlie's death. We see one of the kids die, and then we see this random dude who is a bad father, and someone runs away, and there's a bunch of other weird shit going on.
Who's the person on the chair then, or the couch, or whatever?
Assumedly the mom, but I think it's probably just weird spriting.
I think, man, I don't know. Maybe
I
Scott
think
kept
it's
it ambiguous. It's like
maybe
it doesn't matter who it is. Fuck you.
it's got to be the bite victim because it doesn't have hair.
I have heard that theory, and I go, why?
I know.
A, who's the bite victim talking about? B, why is the bite victim now suddenly the same height as Anne Afton? Now I'm not sure which Afton it is. I'm sure someone could
It's
debunk
almost yeah,
There's gonna be like, but what's
why is a
Junior's
child
then?
adult height? Junior's is probably just a bar.
100% it's implied that it's a bar. I remember Matt Pat, he brought up like, oh, it's the FNAF 2 location. I go, that doesn't make any sense. Why would it be called FNAF Juniors?
He did go back on that.
Well, yeah, he goes back on a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, thank God.
I think sometimes he's right about stuff and he has to go back on it because Scott changed his mind.
Yeah, that's true. He wasn't right about Dream Theory though. I don't think that was ever the implication.
I think honestly, genuinely, I think Scott thought it was for a little bit, and then he goes, "That's stupid."
I think there are very clear clues that can be made to justify Dream Theory, but I think they can also be made to justify other things.
I think Scott
didn't know what he was doing with FNAF 4.
Well, he didn't, but I think Dream Theory was the working theory for a while. Because didn't he? I'm pretty sure I remember, and I'd have to go back and rewatch the intro to Help Wanted 1. But they brought up dreams at one point. I thought there was reference to like Dream Theory and stuff and other.
Are you talking
pieces.
about in the movie?
No, in Help Wanted.
I don't remember about Help Wanted, but at the beginning of the movie, he's reading a book. Well, no, he's reading a book called Dream Theory, and he's talking to a guy who's like, "People believe this?" And he's like, "Some people do." Which I think was so funny.
I did laugh at that part in the movie, but I still think that's Scott. Like, he came up with that. He was like, "Oh yes, Dream Theory." He didn't call it that for sure, but he goes, "The whole ending was a dream," and he goes, "That is not a good ending." And then he made Sister Location.
No, yeah.
This cannot be the end.
Sure.
I don't know if you remember this. Do you remember when Sister Location was announced and every FNAF fan page got really, really weird with Sister Location? They started making songs. There was a Chainsmokers parody. Everything got really weird around Sister Location.
Chainsmokers parody.
Yeah.
You're going to have to remind me about that.
Do you know the song Don't Let Me Down by the Chainsmokers?
Yeah.
There was a FNAF.
Are you okay? I do remember them. It just a lot of community stuff just got a lot of like
It
kind of left field.
So bizarre, and they were like, "Oh, the mini arenas and the I think they're bitty babs, whatever the fucking little children shaped things are."
Bitty babs.
Which would you crank the difficulty, or I mean not the difficulty, the brightness up in Help Wanted?
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's actually they tell you if you run too far left or right. That's what jump scares you. I didn't do that because I had the brightness cranked all the way up because I'm a pussy and I don't like not knowing what's in front of me as I walk forward. So it's honestly kind of cool. Like if you want to know like what hitboxes look like and how Chica, or I mean not Chica, how
Ballora?
Ballora despawns.
Huh.
The mini
Oh,
arenas
yeah.
also despawn. They just vanish.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh yeah, Biddy Babs are weird because like the implication is that William was trying to uh bring he was trying to like create children or like some sort of like very similar to Charlie in the Books where
Yep. I forgot.
you're trying to like bring Elizabeth back with like a robot body, which is not helpful when discussing Gregbot. Because that is a theory that Gregory from Security Breach is a robot.
Oh right. You know what?
I love Gregbot. It's so funny.
It's a theory. It's a point of contention in the fandom. I know it is.
Still is.
It will never stop being one.
No.
It is dream theory. Genuinely,
It's
people still
Dream
get up
Theory
in
too.
arms about dream theory. People still get up in arms about Charlie being a robot, even though that's
I kind of
canon.
just want to go through the FNAF Reddit page at some point.
We
Just
could
like
do a
look at
live
like the
stream
most
like that.
the most controversial like posts of all time or whatever.
We could do a live
I
stream
think that'd
about
be funny.
That would be
Yeah,
funny.
for sure.
But
Yeah.
like, there's so many points of contention in the FNAF universe. But Gregbot, I know two, or they used to be friends. They're not anymore. That's a whole can of worms I'm not going to get into. But I used to know these two people who thought Gregbot was a good idea and who thought that Gregbot is a horrible idea. I fall into if that's what Scott intended, this new wave of FNAF is already broken enough as is. It's what makes the most sense given this direction. Honestly, there's enough evidence to support one way or the other, but like I don't care. If Gregbot's canon, cool.
I just don't jive with the fact that if Gregory is this robot that's been like roaming the halls of the Pizzaplex, how the hell does he have a friend that he can call to like come and like quote unquote save him in Ruin? Like,
I wonder.
where does that fit in?
All right, we'll watch Scott be like, Gregory wasn't always a robot. Fourth Closet, and I go, fuck, god damn it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just so like
stop bringing people back as robots.
He insists upon himself.
It insists
It insists upon itself. It insists upon itself. Oh shit, what was I saying?
Gregbot.
Yeah,
Fourth
Gregbot.
Closet.
This isn't helping. I was trying to take it into a different direction, I think.
Gregbot. Other
no,
direction.
Oh, now I get it. I think Cassie's a good character. I thought it was really sad when Roxanne was like, "I'm sure your friends will show up to your birthday party this year." I
think I played bits and pieces of Ruin.
This is towards the end. For some reason, I don't remember why. You have to like take something from Roxanne to like deactivate her or something, but not like permanently. But it's still like painful and it makes her cry. And the whole time Roxanne is like talking to you and being like, I remember your birthday last year. You turned 11, right? I remember because you were number 1 twice. It's like, oh, that was really sweet. And then you have to jam something into her eye and like deactivate her.
Yeah.
The scene itself does it more justice than I can. I'm no voice actor.
Yeah, well. Oh well.
You know.
Maybe I'll look it up later. It'll be what I fall asleep to.
Maybe. It's not like a long scene, but yeah, it's pretty cool. I think stuff like that is where Steel Wool's new setting and themes shine the most. If you're gonna give these new animatronics like more of a personality, lean into that. Give us like a reason to like buy into like these new characters. Don't just kill them off at the end of your first game like so unceremoniously. You needed more build up, I think.
Yeah, I think Ruin was kind of the answer to that a little bit.
A little bit. It still didn't solve a lot.
No, but
Just kind of it gave. It was almost like a lifeline, I'd say. It wasn't revolutionary, but it gave the game something to build off of with the mimic.
yeah.
It's something, and I think the mimic can be very cool if they stick the landing here.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm interested to see the direction because I did not want to play Help Wanted, knowing that it took place in the Pizzaplex, and
Yeah,
knowing that I found it like it was a Steam account for $10. I was like, fuck it, whatever. I can spend my money
yeah,
in
yeah.
worse ways, and it'll give me good footage.
hmm
I'm I'm impressed with what they did. It does the Pizzaplex justice. It makes Parts of Sister Location that I hate a little more fun.
hmm
It gives Sun and I think now we're supposed to not like Sun and Moon, and if you like it, it's because you like antagonists, and I like
Yeah,
that because
they
Jesus Christ, Sun and Moon is annoying in Help Wanted. Those missions are really bad. I
you're
mean,
you're
they're
not.
great missions, but they're
Yeah, yeah.
annoying.
You're you're forgetting about the Tumblr users. They love cinnamon.
They love. I am not
If you go
forgetting
into
about them. I'm trying not to think about them.
if you go into fanfiction.com, uh, it's
Never
like
do that.
8/10 of all fanfiction includes Sun and Moon
Wonderful.
and with FNAF. So if you need to hate them more, that's why.
No, I don't. I've stopped trying to keep the fandom as a piece of my mind because it's what that I still don't like Undertale for that reason.
Okay, well, yeah,
I will
that's fair.
acknowledge that Undertale is well made, well written, and just because I don't like turn-based RPGs, they do it very well. That being said,
Yeah.
I've let the fandom ruin it to the point where I cannot play Undertale simply because I think about how bad it is, and that's going to get me docked so many points on people's list. I don't care.
No, I think that's fair. I think a lot of people don't like Undertale for that very reason. Sorry.
Did you almost throw up?
No, I had a shudder go through
Oh,
my
dude,
body.
that
I
happens
do that
to me
sometimes.
all the time.
It's so weird. I don't get it. Why
the
are you
crying
doing
child.
this to me?
It's Cassidy.
No, I'm not. What do you mean? How is the vengeful spirit in my house? I didn't kill her. Him, them, whatever.
Cassidy.
It.
I
Cassidy's
didn't kill
supposed to be a
Cassidy.
girl, I think. I didn't kill my wife.
Okay, OJ.
No, it's John Mulaney.
Oh yeah.
I love
Wasn't he
saying
talking
my
about
wife.
OJ? Oh wait, yeah.
I love
But
saying
he was
my
referencing
wife. It feels so
OJ.
adult, probably. um.
Anyway.
Shit, I was gonna say something else. Oh my god.
All right, backtrack.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to whatever Curse of the Mimic is gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's good stuff ahead.
I just want Steel
Oh my
Wool.
god.
Sorry, what?
Oh, Steel Wool. Steel Wool. Right, I remember now. I think we do need to acknowledge this is Steel Wool finding their footing,
Mm-hmm.
because Scott has taken a backseat. He's still like in the director's chair, I believe, and like making certain decisions and like being there to be like advise. He's like an advisor, but he said one time there was like a whole year where he wasn't consulted about anything in terms of FNAF, in terms of like making the game. So he has taken a severe backseat in that sense. So we do need to be judging this as Steel Wool figuring out how to handle this series.
Okay, that makes a little more sense, and that gives me a little more hope for Steel Wool because I did play their Hello Neighbor VR game, which is god awful. I don't know why I keep giving Hello Neighbor a shot.
I never liked Hello Neighbor.
I still love the first game. I know it's bad. It's like that Mars Attacks, Sleepwalkers, Friday 8, sorry, because that's Jason Takes
Sure.
Manhattan's sweet spot, where it's so bad I cannot help but like it. It is stupid. It doesn't make any sense. It's fundamentally broken, and I have so much fun with it. But I keep giving it another shot because Secret Neighbor was so fun. It's a fun game, and Hello Guest was good. Hello Guest was so good, and then Hello Neighbor 2 was bad, and they did Hello Engineer, which was bad, and the Hello Neighbor VR was bad, and I haven't played anything since.
In the span of like mascot horror things, it always has been chasing FNAF, on some level.
It's been trying to do the same things FNAF does, just worse.
It's trying to be the next like revolution, but you cannot.
But they don't cut their
cannot-
losses.
You also can't strike gold twice. They are trying to do that. They're trying to revolutionize the genre
But the
by
thing
doing
is,
the same
they
idea and stuff.
did.
Things that
They did strike gold twice. With the original pre-alpha, struck gold. Secret Neighbor struck gold. And then they had Hello Guest, which struck further gold. They've struck gold 3 times. They just don't know. They either don't know or don't care.
I think we might have a different take on what gold is in this sense. For me, I mean like something lasting that people will be talking about years down the line instead of just being a footnote in mascot horror as a whole. Don't get me wrong, it is like historical.
I mean, shit.
In the sense that, like,
unfortunately, it has more lasting power than Tattletale. Even though Tattletale
God,
was a far better
incredible
game. It's a good game.
I
Bendy wasn't a good game, but then got a very good game. Dark Revival.
Yeah, no kidding, man.
Dark Revival is new BioShock. That game gives off strong BioShock 1 vibes. When I was playing Dark Revival, I was thinking BioShock 1 and loving every minute of it. Dark Revival is so good. It is everything that Bendy 1 wanted to be, with now such good characters. It builds off of every good thing about Bendy 1 in a good way. And it is, in my eyes, what Pizzeria Simulator is.
That's fair.
God, I love Pizzeria Simulator.
Dude, it's so cool, and it's free.
It's free.
I love that it's free.
I adore that it's free. You know, like FNAF. I'm surprised there wasn't an earlier free FNAF game. I guess technically FNAF World, but that's not canon.
It didn't start as free. Okay, the canonicity of FNAF World can be debated for a while.
Is even the Henry stuff canon? Like, is that still canon, or is it completely retconned?
It's the line is so thin between what is like meant to be story beats and what is just Scott talking to us and like trying to like write it out of existence.
Well, because that's what Silver Eye, like that's what made the Silver Eyes trilogy so hard to dissect, because people weren't sure what was real and what wasn't. That's what Scott's he made certain things real.
His take on like making things like alternate universes with shared aspects is bullshit, and I think it makes everything more convoluted. But
I think that's his way of still trying to keep the lore a secret.
I am willing to excuse it because it's FNAF and it's in character for FNAF. Exactly.
It is.
And one more thing about FNAF World is just that there are theories that suggest that it can still be canon. The way that it works is like there's one some people are theorizing this is a game that Cassidy. This is like another Gibby's Horror Homestead theory. I really like him. He made the 8-hour FNAF lore speedrun, and I thought that was really cool. Yeah, and he was saying this could be like a game that Henry built for Cassidy to play through and ensure that Happiest Day happens in FNAF 3. It's like a parallel story, because this involved all of the arcade games actually.
You know, I did not know about Gibby's Horror Homestead until you talked about it today. So I think I'm going to check him out.
I enjoy what he's talking about, and I like that he is not ever like suggesting that his theories are the be-all end-all. He has this stupid acronym at the end of thing being like be Freddy. It's like friendly something something something. It's this dumb acronym, and I think it's very silly. But I like that he tackles all aspects of FNAF from a narrative standpoint first, which I think has always been the core. Yeah.
There is a way that FNAF World could be canon, and it is the same way that Help Wanted is canon, and technically Help Wanted 2.
It's a game.
It's a game within universe, and that's possible.
Exactly.
I like the idea that it's Henry making the game more, but I doubt it would be. Henry would have no reason to learn game design just to put his spirit at ease.
He talked about it because like the guy that was the CEO of Chuck E. Cheese in
Okay.
real life was like the founder of Atari or something,
Is that true?
or he's somehow related. Look up like Chuck E. Cheese Atari or something
Is
like
that
that.
like how the son of the guy who founded Nike founded Leica?
Is that true?
That is true. That is true.
That's
That's actually
crazy.
this is cool. This is another pop like movie thing that I'm gonna bring
That's
up
really
because I
cool.
really like movies and I love Leica. I fucking
Like it's pretty cool.
Wildwood is going to be amazing, and if it isn't, I'm gonna
Wow,
cry.
Woody. Sorry,
But
tire
like,
muscle notes.
but no. So the son of the guy who founded Nike founded Leica. I think his name is Chris Butler. Either that or that's just a director of Paranorman. But he founded Leica. Their studio or the headquarters for Nike in I think it's Beaver, Oregon or Beaverton, whatever. In Oregon is across the street from Leica. And that's actually why, because Leica's headquarters and the Nike headquarters are not too far from where we are, which is why in Mopop we got that Leica exhibit because it's super close. They could just put stuff from their studio that they kept and put it into Mopop, and it's like a 5-hour drive.
Damn, that's cool.
That's why we got it and no one else did. Like no
That's awesome.
one else really cares. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
Leica has not struck gold since Coraline, which makes me sad.
I wish Kubo was more popular. I remember
Oh my
watching
god,
that movie.
Kuba's so good.
I remember watching that with my sister, and like that was the only time she ever. I remember shutting up and like watching a movie.
It's so good, dude.
It
Anyway,
was really
oh
good.
my god. Side
Back-
tangent. Back to FNAF and
Yeah.
how
So Nolan Bushnell, I looked him up.
Okay.
He established Atari Incorporated and the Chuck E. Cheese Pizza Time theater chain. He has
That's
been inducted
fucking
into
cool.
the Video Game Hall of Fame and the Consumer Electronics Association Hall of Fame.
Good for
Dude,
him, man.
I know.
That's genuinely a cool fact. We
I
learn something
know.
new every day. Last
And he was born
episode
in
of-
Utah. He was born in Utah.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Scott knows this. There's no way this is
Scott's doing something there.
Scott did his
So, like,
research.
that would make sense for why Henry would be able to like make video games. But also back to the Chuck E. Cheese. Of course, the guy who made arcade games would want a place to put his arcade games.
That's true.
Like that's just like a association that just makes sense. I think.
I think that's really fucking cool.
I agree. So yeah. Anyway, so like that would include like the arcade games from 2 and 3, the stuff from 4 even, just all explaining what happened to Cassidy, who's been
Does that
dead in Golden Freddy. Or
would
whatever.
would that make it safe to assume that every FNAF mini game, the mini games are
Mhm.
games that exist somewhere that were made based on what Henry knew at the time, and therefore we might get a mini game like a FNAF mini game collection of Atari
Dude,
games.
stop! I want that so bad. And yes, I believe that is the implication. I can definitely see that for like Midnight Motorist, Fruity Maze, stuff like that, and then
Mhm.
also Give Cake to the Children, obviously.
I
The other
wonder if
ones in
those
FNAF
all
2.
are- I wonder if the FNAF 3 and FNAF 2 games are all in one game, or if they're separate games in the same
could-
series.
That's a very interesting question. I think the arcade games in general for FNAF, especially 4 and before, a little rhyme there, are so interesting because just like it was doing part for FNAF 2 it was the what was doing a lot of heavy lifting was the spelling out of things from the puppet. That really worked to the favor of making it very creepy and off-putting,
Mm-hmm.
I think. And then in FNAF 3, it was mostly very low fidelity music box pieces in the background. They really like spelled out the tragedy, I feel like, in a weird way, just like
I
these
actually
were just
have the FNAF 3 music box bit. It's going to be in the video
Like-
somewhere, and I don't know exactly where.
good.
But
That is my the FNAF 3
the music box.
music soundtrack OST, I guess. It's not really original, but whatever.
I mean, it's fucking Swan Lake, or I
Yeah,
guess one
it's-
of the tracks is Swan Lake.
Yeah, it's my favorite audio like soundscape, I guess. when I think of FNAF.
It is so eerie. Every one of those games, to an extent,
Absolutely.
is eerie. It took me an embarrassing amount of time to realize that the sounds in the FNAF 3 minigames, the where you're playing as the animatronics, are not someone in the vents, but it's just thunder outside.
Oh,
My stupid brain thought that was someone banging around in the vents, and I realized
I can see that.
because it's 8-bit, it's so bit crunched that's what it has to sound like, but that's thunder and rain outside.
I can
Which I
see
think
that.
means, one of the Freddy's locations has to be in Louisiana.
Louisiana.
I think that's what they're in the movie.
Oh yeah,
That's where
I
they
think
filmed
you're
it. That's
right.
where Into the Pit takes place is in Louisiana.
Right.
Which I think is
Yeah.
really funny that someone has to hate Louisiana for that to be the case, because God,
Yeah.
both the movie and Into the Pit make Louisiana look like such a shithole.
Shit. Yeah.
It's bad, man. It's so funny.
I mean, Mike is like very clearly like not doing well financially, so naturally he wouldn't be in a great part of town.
Not doing well financially. He was unemployed at the beginning of the movie.
No, he had a job as
Well, I
a
guess,
security
but he
job that he immediately
whiffed
got
it.
fired from.
Yeah, but they
Actually,
bring up in the
he hit
movie that
every
he has a
shot.
history. That's true. But he has a history of like losing his job quickly, which is why
Yeah.
Afton knows him. And I'm not even I don't remember. It was like Steve something.
Steve Raglan.
Steve Raglan, that was it. But
Steve Cumrag.
But it's Afton.
Yeah, for sure.
Great casting.
It is.
Fucking love
Yeah.
Matthew
Oh
Lillard.
my God, Matthew Lillard is, dude. He killed it. The "I Always Come Back" delivery is probably like, it's historical the way he did it.
I
It's
know
incredible.
people are probably
Beautiful.
mad that he isn't British.
Whatever, man.
I don't
If
care.
making him British in the games was just a way to distinct people who were like from the Afton family from everyone else.
Yeah.
That was the main
Because
reasoning behind it, I think.
Because again, those games are so piss simple that he had to use really, really good audio design to make those games. I also have another video, and I have it. There's a playlist. So I've done a little bit of digging, and I've just kind of put things that I like, so we can do more research. There is a playlist that I made, and it's privated. So before our 13 or whatever subscribers try to go looking for this, you can't find it. It's privated.
It's ours.
But there is a playlist of videos called Research or React. And what we have is a bunch of different videos that if we ever do live streams or whatever, we can live react to. Kind of akin to, this is just off the top of my head, Turkey Tom does this a lot, where he'll like listen to controversy stuff and then give his 2 cents. There's a video. I think
this is just what Moist Critical does, yeah.
I guess so, yeah. But they talk about how audio makes FNAF scary.
Scruffy's video, I love that video.
Another great video. We're gonna have basically a playlist in the description.
Yeah, for sure.
It's so great, and again, that kind of loops into how the gameplay differences are.
Yeah.
Because FNAF 4's gameplay is fucking audio design. It is reacting to good audio design.
Exactly.
That's the one thing I like about FNAF 4, even though it's ham-fisted. It's very good audio design. The FNAF games have always had that. And even in Help Wanted, which is great, it's a beautiful remastering of those games. And the sound design is still so good. They still need you to rely on that. If you're not looking at the cameras, that's the only way you know where certain animatronics are or how close they are. There's a remix, or like kind of like I call it a remix. They do it. It's in the Dreadbear DLC, and there's a game. I forget what it's called. It's very hard.
Explain it.
FNAF 1, but it uses Joy of Creation
I know what you're talking
flash
about.
mechanics.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It's so fun. Genuinely, that is the best part of the Dreadbear DLC, in my opinion.
Have you played the hallway?
I hate the hallway.
Hallway is the scariest by far.
Oh yeah, and Help Wanted 2 is not a scary game.
No.
It's tense. I'll give it that.
It is thriller. It is going into thriller territory at that point.
Yeah, it's very good at that. I will say, whatever emotion you're trying to feel, whether it's this game is making you laugh or this game's making you feel stressed out, they accomplish. Both in VR. I mean, I imagine in VR. I haven't played Help Wanted 2 in VR. I played it today on desktop.
Yeah.
It also, again, Help Wanted 1, great game. Why does it took Help Wanted 2 putting so much settings into the game. Help Wanted 1 is not customizable. You cannot change anything. You can like barely change the sensitivity, and it is a minuscule difference, and trying to switch it sometimes just breaks your game.
Yeah, the controls in Help Wanted 1 are a little iffy.
Yeah, looking around, they did not intend that game to be mouse and keyboard. They thought about it more with Help Wanted 2, which is very nice.
I'm thinking about playing it on mobile. Just to see.
Oh right, I've
always been curious.
I wonder if it's Stanley Parable, which is just Inscription but worse.
No. So.
Is that not how it is?
So it is if you're playing it in portrait mode, which for some reason is the default. But you can just put it into landscape mode, and then you have like regular controls, and you can get rid of the arrow keys and stuff. So you don't even have that like weird HUD that's blocking like 25% of the screen.
It is a walking sim. I once you know
where
the directions are, the only time you need any other button besides interacting with stuff is the jumping mini game, and that is
jump circle.
Yeah, the jump circle.
Sometimes you need to crouch to like get out of the window, but again,
and go into vents, but
that's true.
Speaking of vents, Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yes, of course.
This is our most topic episode, and this is out of 2.
Yeah.
This is the only one where we've done a topic, and we are getting sidetracked so quickly, which is exactly what I thought we did.
It helps that we have a pre-recorded video now that we don't have to, so I don't have to get scared and multitask, because I'm not a great multitasker, in case you haven't noticed.
No, I basically been taking. I'll sit and call, and I'll just turn all the sliders down on OBS and just hit record.
That's fair. I did have another guy that I think is worth checking out. Sire Squawks.
Cool. Send that in the chat.
I will do that. He's not quite as known, I think, but I enjoy his stuff as well.
I'll give it a look. Because
that being said, I haven't checked him out very recently. I think he is pretty cool.
Because once we do our episode on theories, sorry, spoiler alert, we're gonna do an episode on theories.
Yeah.
I wanna try to get like a list of different theories, and we'll go through them, like maybe speed round or whatever, go in depth. I don't really know.
He has,
however, attention deficit we're feeling that day.
Yeah, he has some videos that are just all the mini games from each game in high quality. I wonder if we could use that as background video at some point.
I mean,
we'd have to see what he thinks, what he'd say about that. But yeah.
I would just take, I would quicker take no commentary footage from the games and just slap them in before I do that. But honestly, I'm just taking, honestly, for the background footage, I'm deadass just like, if I'm sitting in call, turn the sliders down, record. That's why, like, if you notice, like, points where I just stop moving, that's because I alt-tabbed.
Yeah.
If you notice times where just, like, you notice, like, a slight flicker on the screen because I'm fucking with something, that's because I alt-tabbed.
We have to save this. Something. We have to save this for our post-commentary.
We're not doing DVD commentary.
We need our DVD commentary for our gameplay.
Our live stream where we react to our own podcast. Yeah, I'm sure that'll go over well.
We just talk over ourselves and no one can hear anything.
No one can tell what's podcast and what's us.
Yeah, we are a podcast inception. I am now become podcast talker of FNAF.
Jeez.
Yeah.
No. What even? Good God.
There's another video we could. There's another video we could watch. I'll tell you about it later, actually.
Yeah. Send it in the chat.
Appropriate. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll do that.
Well, yes, I'm basic. The footage I'm recording, because I have to do it. The only reason I do it through OBS is so I have volume sliders. But like the footage is just Discord, but there's a way, because I'm using DaVinci Resolve instead of Premiere, because DaVinci Resolve is simpler. I prefer Adobe Premiere for when I'm actually like editing something, but DaVinci Resolve is nice for simple editing.
I've actually heard people say that DaVinci is very streamlined and much easier to use in most cases.
But I've been trained Adobe Premiere, like I know Adobe Premiere.
That's fair.
So when I'm editing something, I use Premiere, but for DaVinci, I'm just like putting stuff over it. The unlink function is a really nice keybind, which is Control Alt L, and so I just every time I put something into the timeline, Control Alt L, drag whatever I don't need out, or delete. I just saw what he put in the chat.
Yeah.
We'll do our charity live stream. Give all our money to
Or can we do a cosplay live stream?
I'll put on my Scooby-Doo onesie and rank FNAF characters.
I'll skin a Roxanne Wolf plush.
Wonderful.
Okay. I'm not very well versed in editing softwares, but what I've heard about why people like DaVinci so much is because it is every piece you would need to like make a video in one software.
It is.
Is that correct?
That's true. Premiere is that too.
Okay.
DaVinci Resolve has the benefit of being free and being streamlined Premiere.
Right.
But also, they claim to be Blackwater Magic or Black Magic Design or whatever. I forget the brand name. But they do a lot of video equipment and a lot of video software. Adobe does not do that, to my knowledge. So the fact that they're taking into account what people would use editing for, and because they already manufacture the things necessary, of course they were going to streamline the process. It makes sense. It's just Adobe Premiere is so for editors who've been editing for a while before DaVinci Resolve took off. Like Shotcut, if you know what Shotcut is, it's basically free Premiere. It feels like Premiere diet. DaVinci Resolve almost feels like somewhere right in between Shotcut and WeVideo, and just how streamlined it is, how accessible it can be, and how Blackwater Design is simultaneously, I don't think that's what it's called, but we're going to go with it.
Okay.
I could look it up and realize that's not it, but like,
It's okay.
That company, they know exactly who they're marketing it to, and it is people who either hate Premiere or are getting into editing, and they want the longevity, which makes sense. So the way that that program is done is a lot of tutorials. It's very simple, and you can, like, I knew people who were like getting into editing. I have a friend who Apple Core on YouTube, I'm sure I could find their page, used DaVinci Resolve for a while, and they loved it because it was just so easy to use. And that's kind of the beauty of it, is that company has like so many tutorials on how to do certain things, and it is all in program, and whatever you can't do in DaVinci Resolve, they give you can go onto their website and find what you need. It's not buying the Adobe bundle that gives you Premiere, After Effects, and Photoshop so you can design everything you need and then switch between programs using Adobe's program switcher. I know Adobe, but I hate Adobe.
Go ahead.
No, that's it.
Oh yeah. Anyway, speaking of autism,
Editors are
I let you
autistic.
go off. Yeah. I let you go off because you seem pretty passionate about that.
Somewhat.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. What editing software do you think Scott Cawthon would use?
WeVideo.
Yeah.
That is the most, because the way those games are programmed, and I am looping it back around to the original subject, if that was what you were about to say. WeVideo is the most drag block coding software imaginable.
Isn't Scratch that?
Scratch is that, and Tinker.
That's why.
And
Well,
Plug
that's why we can. That's why there are many FNAF games that are made in Scratch, actually.
There is.
In case you were wondering.
But they
like
use
a large amount.
But Scratch's main demographic is 9-year-olds, so it is.
So there's a very large overlap between FNAF fans and Scratch fans.
Yeah. Because the Scratch fans, what they are doing is using the Scratch in program drawing tool a lot of times, because you can't upload sprites, and if they do, they just upload what Scott made poorly.
Yeah.
But like, that's basically using MS Paint to come up with stuff. Scott, I think he had to have used like a 3D sprite maker or whatever.
No, his sprite work is phenomenal.
Yeah, they're iconic, really good.
It's
Strangely detailed for a game made in a block coding software. It's weirdly in depth.
that can be seen in his earlier work as well.
Oh, Desolate Hope is like that.
The obvious answer, yeah. If you haven't heard of Desolate Hope, check it out. It's fantastic.
It's free on Steam.
Beautiful story even.
It's free on Steam.
I don't know if you've played it, Ben, but like
I haven't played it, but
it's definitely not for everyone. And it's definitely not his greatest game by far, but it is such an interesting like piece of history. I'd say it is his masterpiece, minus FNAF, sort of like. It has nothing to do with that kind of world, but it is still like dreadful but hopeful at the same time, and just like this very cold but like again hopeful world. Like there's so much like going on with a very short game, all things considered. And even in his old Christian movies, that animated movies, there were some like very like intense robots and like technology being made that were like very in depth, weirdly, for what he was doing.
I genuinely think if Scott can't, or he can kind of write, he can't plan things out very well. But what I will give him this, when he wants to do theming in a story, and when he wants to touch on emotional beats, he's strangely effective. Something that FNAF has always nailed, in my opinion, besides atmosphere and audio design, is when the lore wants you to feel a certain emotion. He's very good at that. FNAF 4, which I hate. I do not like playing FNAF 4. It's mini games.
I know where you're going with this.
The mini games are tier worthy.
It's indeed.
They are very. He's very knowledgeable on how to make you feel certain emotions.
His it comes from the minimalist style he had in these first games. He did not just tell you the story. He gave you the broad strokes in a very like short bursts throughout a long span of time, and that is what cultivated the like colossal community that FNAF now has.
Exactly.
Because there's so much like interpretation that goes into it.
I mean, despite the fact Scott not knowing his own lore and having certain pieces that are set in stone, there are so many ways to take his story and change it into the lore you want. And I think he kind of knows that, or at least at the very least knows that he accidentally did that and wants that.
That is, I think, the true beauty that like of his method of storytelling. It is very dirty. It is very all over the place and erratic and not planned out at all. And he's flying by the seat of his pants the whole time. But he had ideas, and he expressed those ideas in ways that others were able to take it and run. And there is some very incredible fan content if you are able to sift through the drudges and the trenches.
If you're able to sift through Flumpties and Dormitimus to get the joy of creation.
I hate that Flumpties sucks now just because Jonachrom's a weirdo.
Yeah, but if you're able to sift through the shit to get to the joy of creation, which is genuinely the closest we'll get to a fully planned out, fully realized FNAF piece of media that is competently written, uses the indie format in a almost AAA fashion, and has genuine terrifying horror mixed with insanely fun gameplay loops. That game does not feel, in the way that Dark Souls fans describe that the game isn't bullshit, it's fair. That game is bullshit. Fuck you. I'm bad at video games. Joy of Creation feels like it's genuinely fair, and every mechanic doesn't feel like BS. That's the one thing, and I'll see reviews on it for Help Wanted 2. I see them, and I didn't care about them until fucking today. But people say that certain mini games feel impossible to win, and that's true. Joy of Creation does not feel like that. It feels fully realized. It feels like its own thing, and I would love if it was if the fanverse wasn't horrible, the fanverse initiative wasn't done so poorly, and the joy of creation could have been a genuine piece of the FNAF lore outside of the FNAF lore. Like the FNAF lore, it's its own thing, and then outside of that is the joy of creation, and then our world. Like it's kind of that bridge between, because the implication is that it's Scott and his family experiencing these events.
The joy
It also
of
does
creation.
make fucking Scott die in the joy of creation, which is funny.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, there are some cool things that didn't come out. Namely Lego FNAF. Have you heard of that?
Oh yeah, I have heard of that, but
They were remaking the games in the FNAF art style, or the Lego art style. Very cool. Unfortunately, it did get canceled, I believe.
yeah.
There was one I remember being really excited for. I don't know what the status of it is anymore, but it was called A Web of Cogs and Oil. Um, and I don't remember anything about it, but I think that one seemed pretty cool, or at least interesting. Um, and then I obviously Joy of Creation is fantastic. I am personally partial to Popgoes, but that is just me. That is completely taste. I think that
I still don't know enough about Pop Goes to have an opinion on it.
I would check out. I think it's called Popgoes Arcade. It is a teaser for the new, because he kind of like started with like a clean slate.
Who was the creator of Pop Goes? I thought he was controversial.
He said the N-word, I think.
Oh, is that it?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Sorry, what was his name though?
As
He,
like
he was
I'll look it up real quick.
I remember he did a Hello Neighbor stream and it was very funny. And what's it?
Kane Carter.
King Carter.
Yeah.
Then we're not thinking of the same. I'm not thinking of the same person.
What are you thinking of?
Do you know the yeah video about Hello Neighbor?
Oh, yeah. I know. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, he did a Hello Neighbor video and I watched it and I liked it.
He did a good video on Dormitibus as well.
He did do a good video on Dormitibus. That's how I know what that is.
That was my refresher.
Wonderful. I'm literally gonna create a playlist called "Shit We Referenced in Episode 2,"
Okay.
and it's gonna be a public playlist. I'm gonna link it, and it's gonna be like, "Here, this is what we were referencing."
If we're just citing our sources, basically.
Yeah.
I think it'd be really funny if when we come out with Episode 3, we just add and 3 to that playlist.
We're just gonna be like sources.
Yeah.
I'll just have a Google
better.
Doc page that I made, or that I make, and it's just like, or like a Word doc or whatever. It's
That
like
would be
just
funny.
a list of things that we reference, and I update it real time. I would
Yeah.
never do that. I don't like kind of the beauty of this podcast. We don't put enough effort into it to make it like a huge production.
I don't care enough to do that, but I also care enough to
I care
do
enough about
this
the quality.
until time immemorial.
Exactly. Like I care enough to do it, and I care enough to make it at least somewhat presentable.
I don't want to sell out, you know?
I don't want this to become a Joe Rogan experience type stuff. Like early Joe Rogan, where it's just like friends sitting in a Zoom call. That's the vibe I want to go with this. If we ever get
Yeah.
our own podcast studio, it's gonna look rough. It's gonna have posters. It's going to look. There's gonna be like trash cans in there because we're gonna be eating and shit. Like it's gonna be funny.
Yeah, yeah.
It's gonna feel like a room in the house.
I agree. Oh, there's I'm looking at a thing. Have you ever heard of Juniors?
I recognize the name, but I couldn't say anything about it.
Me neither. I just remember seeing the art style and thinking that was very striking.
We're getting into fan stuff, and we were talking about how the
Yeah,
games.
we'll avoid it. But that is just.
Expect fandom
I'm
episodes.
remembering.
If there's a side to FNAF as a entity, I'm not even going to call it like a franchise, as an entity, including the fandom, the books, the movie, the games, the side games, whatever. We're going to talk about it because Taylor and I
Absolutely.
talk about this shit all the fucking time.
Like we have like more than 5 episodes that we could make if we had recorded what we had talked about before. Spanning the years.
Here's the thing, though. if you don't think we can recreate those conversations, I mean, not exactly, but
Oh no, we talk about things we've talked about multiple times before.
and then we
Just
make jokes about them. That's
forget
basically
about
what
it.
this
Yeah,
podcast is going
that
to
sounds
be.
about right. That sounds about right.
This has been the most original conversation we've had in that it spawned from me watching a video with someone who doesn't know anything about the lore, and then I went, this would be kind of cool to talk about, and then we immediately dove headfirst into lore.
Yeah, it's you hit the nail on the head there, partner.
Again, why this is the only episode to have a predetermined title, and it's literally because we did an AI game in Discord, and
it's
we thought
about
that was
AI.
funny.
I would like to know how similar, to kind of bring it back, how similar the coding process goes for each fan game.
For each
Like-
fan game.
Like every game that follows that formula, what differences are there? Because like if you take Candies,
I think Candies
Candies
is the
is-
exact same.
the most faithful. It was like the first like fan game. Like the reason people hold it in such high regard is just because it was the first one that like used click team right.
It was the only
Every
one
other
that
one
did
looked
the
weird.
same. Yeah, everyone did. It was the only one that looked
just didn't
kind
know
of
how to
like
use it.
FNAF.
Yeah,
Kind of feels like they knew what Scott did. Like they've been using
Yeah.
Click Team for a while, and they're like, oh, this is what Scott did. Okay, this is how I'm gonna do it. And
yeah.
I don't like Candies.
No, it's not. It's not perfect. I think the remaster of the first game is actually like pretty high quality, but
Well,
2
yeah.
is weird. 3 is boring.
Imagine, see, because FNAF 3 is my favorite of the original. I'll even say 7. The original 7, I play FNAF 3 the most. Like,
That's fair.
Pizzeria Sim from a narrative standpoint is the best one. FNAF 3 from a gameplay standpoint is just my favorite. I love the rebooting power stuff, or like your camera's audio vent. I love
it's,
the idea of the phantom animatronics. I love that it's basically, it's like herding a cat,
Yeah,
and then
it has an
a loud
underrated like
noise
level
happen.
of tensity.
Oh yeah,
Um,
especially when you can't get him back to Cam 9.
yeah. It's
I
that
used to think
it's that like
Cam 8
working
was
on
the
the
place to
fly.
keep him.
It's like that working on the fly of like, it's very much the most cat and mouse game I think.
It's exactly cat and mouse.
Yeah,
But if you were the
And I think-
mouse and you're trying to guide the cat,
exactly. Yeah, away from you and not like avoid the cat.
but that's the thing. FNAF 3 is so unique from the other games, in that it is not.
Mhm.
It's not them trying to come to you, and you're letting them come to you, and you're just like, come here, go away. That's
Yeah,
what FNAF
it's not-
4 is. That's what FNAF 2 is. That's what FNAF 1 is. FNAF 3 is
Because-
all about trying to keep him in a spot and keep him there, and
'Cause once you-
block him
once
off.
you-
Because once he starts going, he can't stop. You can't stop.
Yeah,
him.
once you see him, like once he's in your view, that you're fucked. That's it.
Well, and like that's why I love
There's
the
no like
Pymations.
stopping him.
I
Yeah.
love the Pymations video. It's hilarious.
Animations, man. We could talk about animations too. Yeah, what the
will.
fuck you know about Tony Krynite?
Nothing. But like the Pymations video brings
Oh.
up like you hit the button and he'll run over there. I have yet to try it. I don't think you can. I don't think he listens.
I don't think you can. No, I think that was just.
I think the minute he
it's funny.
locks in on you, like once he gets to cam 1, it's like, all right, can I even
sure-
get him to the other cams?
I'm sure if he fails his movement opportunities enough times, you can then manage to get him back. But
I don't
at that
think
you'd have to be very lucky.
I don't think you can get him back. I think once he sees you, I think it's like Foxy's out of curtain state, where he
Oh,
does
yeah?
he never goes back in, but you can keep him there if you're lucky.
Sure, yeah.
Because that's I mean FNAF 3.
But with
again,
Foxy, it's just like it's a progressing further and further. There's no like
it's literally
whirling back until like he runs.
it's like
and then-
pulling back a slingshot, and then once he hits the point where he's out and he starts running, you have like seconds to react.
Yeah.
Again,
I mean,
like
it's not too hard if you just, because like everyone's instinct is to check the hallway, but if you just don't check the hallway, you have plenty of time.
even then, if you check the hallway, it gives you enough time to click down door. Unless
Yeah,
you're like
exactly.
genuinely uncoordinated,
Or
don't
if you
play
just
a FNAF game. If
if
you're
you're yeah,
uncoordinated,
yeah, exactly.
or if you're focusing on another animatronic, Chica Freddy.
Or if you're just caught off guard and scared because it's the first time you've ever seen it.
That's true. I would, if I could unknow everything about FNAF and discover it for the first time, I wonder if I'd still like it as much.
Uh,
I think a lot of FNAF fans are nostalgia, and I fully admit I'm nostalgia. If
uh, this is another thing that McGibby brings up, and has a very strong. It's a very like effective way of explaining it. I think FNAF is perfect for Let's Plays
Mhm.
because
It's
anything
designed for it.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know if Scott necessarily intended it to blow up due to other people playing it and other people watching him play it, but it definitely worked out that way.
I think so.
Because anything frustrate. Oh no. Good luck. Drink some water. I love you.
I'm drinking beer subs. I choked on it.
The anything frustrating about losing and stuff is replaced with that's a funny reaction to being scared by that guy. And you still get the experience, the atmosphere, without actually having to do much.
Holy shit. Okay. Back
Yeah.
to not dying.
I like that.
Oh, good God, that hurt. Yeah, that's kind of, and I feel like that's FNAF 1. FNAF 1 is definitely the one where I feel like anyone could pick it up and play it, but like it was the first one to have that like reactionary quality about it, and then 2 to really like, because that game is not easy.
That's where Theorist kind of popped off, I think.
Yeah. It's definitely where the theories start taking off and whatnot, but like 3 is the only game where I can say that the watching someone play the game ruins it, because like watching Markiplier play it, he overreacts to things. The whole point is you're supposed to keep calm in those scenarios.
Exactly.
When you're playing
it's
FNAF
frustrating.
3, FNAF 3 is frustrating on purpose, and it's worse to watch because you want it. Like when I play FNAF 3, I get like strangely quiet.
You lock in.
And then I start yelling because I always yell. It always comes back to yelling.
Always,
me.
Yeah, well, you know.
I'm a loud guy. But
big guy, loud guy.
I'm always like, again, it's that cat and mouse, but it's
Yeller.
Tom and Jerry, and you're Jerry trying to keep Tom away from you.
And Tom's your dad.
Tom's your dad, and he's a robot. Doesn't matter.
He's
it's
murdered
that game
people.
of. It's a very bad analogy, but
No, I understand.
it's that whole cat and mouse thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like the other games, except for Pizzeria Sim, but Pizzeria Sim is still that get them there. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, now I'm just speaking out loud. That's kind of what FNAF is about. If you look at it from a gameplay standpoint, it's all about getting them all into the same location, which is the narrative thing, and keeping them there, but keeping yourself safe, even though you die in the end.
Yep, that's especially in Pizzeria Simulator.
Again, Pizzeria Sim. Good God, was Scott cooking on that one?
What the hell is up with Scott and multiples of 3? What the fuck?
Oh yeah, the odd number ones are the best ones.
It is weird. Yeah, 1, 3, 5.
Social location has its merit. It's better than 4.
Yeah, exactly. It definitely it got the
It brought back interest.
It got the series back on track. Exactly.
Yes.
It went in a weird direction that is not necessarily the most popular for the franchise, and it introduced things like illusion discs, but that can be excused. Yeah. That can be excused, and mostly the book's fault.
Yup.
I think it is interesting that we have that FNAF 3 is like we both love it for almost different but like parallel reasons.
Exactly.
Because I've never been like someone who's been obsessed with the gameplay. I've always like admired it. I think it's interesting how each game differs, but I've always been more interested in the fan game method of like creating games and people putting a spin on it and seeing how other people interpret it. But the lore has always been my
Your
My
cup
my
of
first
tea.
love. My first love. I wouldn't call it my cup of tea. I don't fucking know what I'm talking about.
But like in terms of like when I'm looking at, so when I'm watching a movie, right? I'm
Mhm.
enjoying it as an audio-visual medium. Video games are the only, or board games kind of, but video games are the only time where interaction gets involved with that. And if I'm going to be interacting with the story, I want that interaction to be good. So like when you talk about the story and I talk about the gameplay, that's honestly what makes kind of like this duo interesting and why we're going to have completely different talking points. Again, longevity of podcast. Thank you, patting myself on the back. But like, I look at FNAF as a whole package, and I have
For sure.
points on the package, and I have points on the gameplay, and I have points on the story. And my
Mhm.
my love of the story usually comes with theming and emotional elements.
For
Again,
sure.
the best parallel I have is If, where that movie is kind of boring, but its emotional beats hit hard, helped by the
For sure.
score. FNAF
That's just
is
like Transformers.
kind of, yeah, except for one. That's just a good movie,
That's what I meant
and Bumblebee.
specifically. Yeah. Well,
But
we don't
like,
have to talk about Transformers, dude.
no, we
I don't
don't.
know why you're talking about it.
You brought it up. So
Shut up.
FNAF is this like kind of tangled mess, right? And each game does something a little different from the other ones, story-wise, gameplay-wise. And if you look at it as an entire franchise, it is the worst consistent franchise ever. It's like Star Wars consistency, where the first
Yeah.
two are close together, and then 3 strongly deviates, and then the rest of the series falls apart. But people still like it.
They
FNAF is my Star Wars.
That's fair. The difference between Star Wars and FNAF for me, I prefer. Okay, first of all, I should say I prefer FNAF to Star Wars, and I really like Star Wars.
You do like Star Wars.
Uh,
I like the first 2 movies and Rogue One,
first two movies
Solo,
are good,
and
and yeah,
early Mando.
Andor,
And
Andor,
oh yeah, Andor.
Andor is just a good piece of
It's just a good show.
media. It's just a good piece of media, even outside of Star Wars.
Mhm.
The writing is snappy, is incredible, but that kind of ties into why I think FNAF is so special. When you look at it as a whole, it's this big jumbled like mess of like different directions and retcons, and it's inherently unsolvable, but
But it's hard to not like that
almost
because you
almost unsolvable.
you almost you almost
I
come to your own conclusions, and everyone
Mhm.
has their own ideal timeline.
Exactly, and I believe that is almost 100% like the reason why it will almost never die. Um, but then when you get to this point when you're talking about this stupid piece of shit where where you just like you start looking at each like little game as its own pocket. You
Mhm.
remember like the experiences you have uh with each game, and like the intricacies and the slight deviations they have, and you see how Scott would take the criticism from one game and use it to make a completely different experience that that
Oh
people either
yeah,
loved or hated. And it's just like how is this still happening? Like,
it is
it's
still happening,
incredible.
and
I
you know
know.
what? I was dogging on FNAF. I was like, all right, I'm out of this shit. Like more merit to the security breach fans. If you're able to follow that and like it, good for you. I hate it. I hate security breach.
No, yeah.
After playing Into the Pit and Help Wanted 2, there's help. There's hope for the FNAF franchise. There's hope for the future of where this game goes, gameplay wise, story wise. I don't think it's all going to be great. It never was always great, but I
Yeah.
think there's a level of merit and a level of hope that we can apply, and honestly that's kind of reminiscent of the FNAF writing.
100%.
There's a hopelessness to it. It's
It's so
now
hopeless. It's
it's
tragic
now a
almost.
multi-million-dollar franchise,
Hmm.
but there are inklets, there's little nuggets of hope there, and that makes me hopeful for what we'll see going forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as people still like the people making the games, as long as they still care and they aren't whatever company made FNAF AR, who were like apparently a horrible company. We don't need to talk about FNAF AR. We will have to eventually, but we don't need to cross
Controversy.
that bridge. Christ, yeah, controversy.
It's where AR belongs.
I love melted chocolate, Bonnie.
God, fuck
Uh,
off.
but I think it's I think franchises at sometimes they reach this point where they fold in on it themselves, where they are inherently very much made up of the same structure and skeleton that made them great in the first place, but they are seen in a different light due to circumstances and past experiences.
It becomes like self-fulfilling prophecy almost, but to the
Pretty
point
much.
where there's slight alterations to that prophecy where it becomes its own thing, and people either like that prophecy and they follow it, or they hate that shit and they announce that they're done with the franchise, and Into the Pit comes out, and then everyone goes, FNAF is back.
We're so back.
We're so back. We
Yeah.
are so back, dude.
We are
Security
so
breach
back.
was a low point. This
Definitely.
is the FNAF, like, security breach for me has the same reaction that I had when FNAF 4 came out, and then Help Wanted 2 got announced, and then, weirdly enough, how did the fucking Fun Times somehow bring interest back into the franchise twice?
That is crazy.
Thank you, Jared Goff, for bringing back interest in FNAF.
Yeah.
And, you know, those talented individuals. I think there's genuinely talent and a care for the franchise still.
I think Steel Wool is something special if they can continue the momentum they've created out of nothing.
I think just once they learn where they're trying to go, and
Yeah.
they learn
It's-
what they're
it's
good
growing
at and what they're
pains.
exactly, because Steel Wool is still a new company. If you
Yeah,
look
they-
at
they
their
are
old
very
games,
new.
there's like 4 games
Yeah.
before Help Wanted, and Help
Hey.
Wanted, Security Breach had to ride the hype train of Help Wanted a little bit.
Yeah. Help Wanted was like the last hurrah of the original series in some ways, and now we need to like let it die down. We need to acknowledge this new it's almost like a season 2. We need to acknowledge it on its own merits.
This is like season 2 of The Walking Dead, where it keeps referencing. It's a little boring, and it keeps referencing the old stuff, and it doesn't really know how to move forward. We need that season 3 to hit hard, because this season 2, this in between shit needs to end, and we need a definitive death to Afton. We need a death to Shane. That's a Walking Dead reference. We need we need a death to Afton, and we need to move on in a new direction. And whatever that direction is, I hope it's.
I think that's what the Mimic is. The Mimic kind of retconned the Burn Trap. The Mimic kind of retconned Burn Trap, as he was called. That was just like the last kind of remnant of Afton.
Yeah.
So I think we're starting a new beginning almost, and I think that's good.
That is good.
I would like to see original. I would like to either see original characters or bring it all the way back to basics and show us some like FNAF 1 and FNAF 2 characters in a game again.
Yeah, either fully embrace the fact that you are a game fully based on structure and living in the past, which is fine. There are franchises that do it.
That is this entire game series is based off nostalgia for Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
That is understandable if you do that. However, you have something really cool with these new characters that you actually gave personality.
I'll give Steel Wool this with Security Breach. The new characters are unique and likable. I have a hard time like the ones that are annoying are trying to be. I don't like Sun and Moon, but you're not supposed to.
They are meant to be like child caretakers. They're like, ugh, this guy's kind of a weirdo. Yep. He's like hard to talk to, but he's good with kids, so whatever.
Exactly. Although there's no way Sun and Moon are good with kids.
Absolutely
After
not.
You play,
they had a email in the game.
Oh yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They're weird.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jared Goff.
Thank you, Jared Goff.
Anyway.
Did you know the guy that voiced Sun also voiced Funtime Freddy?
Yeah, Jared Goff. He also voiced Moon.
Did you know this weird guy named Jared Goff?
He voiced half the
I have
characters in FNAF.
Have you seen my Jared Goff shrine?
All right, I think we've.
That's a good ending, yeah.
I think we've hit the crux of our energy levels because it's now 2:18 in the morning. I have to work tomorrow.
That's a good point. I don't.
Well, you're home from college. That doesn't matter.
And yeah, exactly.
But anyway. Thank you all for listening to nearly 2 hours of this rambling.
Thank you for not clicking off. Check out our links below.
100% there's going to be, I don't know if I'm going to make it a playlist. Maybe it'll just be like a hodgepodge of links.
Sure, just links to either channels or individual videos we've talked about maybe.
Oh, let's make it a
I don't know.
playlist. We'll make it easy.
That's true.
All right.
Keeps it, yeah.
Keeps it
All right.
organized.
Yes, sir.
You guys have a absolutely splendid evening.
Ah!
And now I will. Don't do that.
Okay, sorry.
No, that's fine. Good night, and I have nothing. Head empty.
Good night.
I spewed all my FNAF knowledge.
I know where you specifically live, Ben.
All right, we're ending this shit. Holy fuck.
All right. good night.
Bye.